everybody, and you're very welcome to this spring flower teaching dem, I suppose I'd call it, with me, Eva Holmes, from the greenhouse at Darver House in Jenkinstown in Kilkenny. And it's lovely to be coming to share with you some tips and tricks for creating something for yourselves, for your home, for the spring or for Easter, and you can adapt this at any time of the year to do whatever season you wish. It's the same principle with this design. Now this is it's a circular design, and I haven't very much time, so I'm going to have to fly through this. And I'm hoping you will all pick up some tricks along the way and ideas. Now, I know some of you might not be flower rangers and you mightn't have access to all the gear that us flower rangers do have. So I am going to show you an alternative ways of doing this. This is just an old Pyrex quiche dish. So there's no quiches in my house at the moment. And I have a lovely little wicker basket, which this sits into. So I probably will use this one. Now also I have this alternative, which is a top hat, which you can buy. It's a product suitable for putting floral foam in that holds the water when you're putting your flowers in. So we also could use that. Now, if you don't want to do this fully circular, you can do a slightly oval one. This is a little basket I bought in a little cheap shop, and you can put a nice bow on the front of it if you wish. You could paint it. You could have the children get involved and paint it. And the one thing I will say, that if you are using a basket that has no lining in it, you need to put a container that will hold water in it, or else line it with two layers of plastic and secure it well. Otherwise you'll have a drip all over your table, and you don't want that. So be careful when you're using something that's not plastic lined. Make sure it's okay. Another thing you can use, which are available in lots of the garden centres, is something like the zinc pot, which is waterproof. And you can use just a container that holds floral foam. Just going to pop those out of the way now. And even if you don't have a nice basket to put your arrangement into afterwards, I just want to show you this, which I made from prunings from the garden. It's just like a big nest. And if you have a bigger dish, you can put that in there also, you know, or you could just put that around it. So it looks like a little nest for Easter. And it's just Virginian creeper that came off the wall, and I just bound it with some wire. You can do wool or raffia or something, or string. And then I just put little bits of moss into it just to make it look a little bit more natural looking, and to cover where I tied it. Now I'll put it back here now, and I'm just going to see. This is an arrangement I did the other day, and it's sitting into that, so you can see the kind of thing I'm going to create for you. So I'm going to pop that back into its nest and put it back there. Okay. Oh, lost a lovely camellia flower. Good, that in the hair. So I'm going to do this one for you, and because I have this little basket, I'm going to put it in there to make it sit nice and comfortably. Now, when you're soaking this floral foam, there's lots of different brand names of floral foam. All you do is you sit it on top of a basin of water and you let it sink. And then once the colour changes and it becomes dark, you take it out and seal it in a plastic bag, and it'll stay wet for a year afterwards. Now, this is another type of floral foam that's available, which is a biodegradable one, which is the way I think we need to go, because it's not, this one will biodegrade much quicker than this green one. So I'm just going to put those to the side. Now, I haven't those in water, but they have been soaked, and I will use them at a later date. Now, this is Oasis that I already had soaked. So where to begin? Well, my favourite thing is going out to the garden and picking what I can find that just gives me joy, and it's a creative thing. It's therapeutic, going around the garden with your secateurs or scissors and your bucket of water, and as you go you pick your bits that you put and say, well, that might be nice with that and that. So this is the plan for today. Now also I forgot to mention, I have secured this oasis or floral foam into my Pyrex dish with this anchor tape. It's called pot tape or anchor tape, and that's available to buy in most garden centres, flower shops, and you can buy it in a little small roll, and if you have a little box and put all your little bits in, you'll have them forever to use when you want to do your flowers. So for this we need some outline plant material, and when I went out the garden and I picked what was in flower really, just to bring a little bit of brightness and colour. And this branch, which hasn't got lovely little new growth, so it gives us all hope for the future, because everybody's been through a tough old time since last year and we didn't think it was going to continue. So this is the twisted willow, and it's very simple to grow from a cutting. You can just stick it in the ground and it will grow. The other thing is what everybody calls American currant. I'll just take out this now out of my way because he's a bit twisty. Is the American currant or rye base, which a lot of people don't like the smell of, because they think it smells like tomcat pea. But I don't think it does really. I think it's a nice smell. So we have that, and also we have the beautiful yellow forsythia, which is everywhere in abundance at the moment. So the choice is yours as to what kind of plant material you use. The one thing I will say is that when you go to do your flowers, just don't rush out and bring them in and do them there and then. You need to put them into water overnight so they have a nice drink. So I'm going to use some of this currant for starters. Now, and it's important when you're putting plant material into floral foam that you don't have the stems too thick and put in a big heel or something into the oasis, because you will break it if you do. Now this gets quite big, as you can see. Now because my basket is about that size, I want to go about 1 to 1.5 times the height of my container. And I keep a container, a plastic bucket for all my offcuts from my flower arranging, and they all go into my compost heap. And I chop them up if I can at all small, so that they do compost down, because it's important that we use and not waste all this plant material. So those guys, I'm just put those guys back in a little bit of water now. I have all my little buckets. So there we have my first little group, and they're all growing. They're all, coming as if they were growing out of the same space. And as this is coming up to Easter now, it might be nice, so you could do these for friends or family, or drop them into people, and hopefully we'll be able to go and visit people in nursing homes. And it's lovely to bring something that's homemade by you to somebody, and I think they really appreciate that more than something that's bought. And if you could get some bits from somebody's garden and bring them to them, I think it's a lovely idea. Although sometimes I feel if I do flowers for people, they think I'm doing this, I'm being very mean and cheap about the job. Now I'm just putting in a little bit of forsythia there at that side, so it's just that it's lower than the other side. Now I don't know if I'm going to need the willow, but we'll leave him there to one side. Now I went out the highways and the byways yesterday, and I picked some beautiful ivy leaves. I don't know if you can see those, and with a nice long stem. So I'm just going to put a nice group of ivy leaves. And ivy leaves you need to submerge in water in a container. So these are in a little dish, little plastic dish, since last night, and they've had a good drink and they will last very well. And then it's also very important, when you have done your arrangement, that you keep the oasis topped up with cold water, and that you don't have it sitting on top of a radiator if at all possible. Now I'm just going to turn this now, and you can have another little see what we're doing. Group of ivy, the flowering currant, and the forsythia, or forsythia, which is a very easy shrub to grow also, and they're available all around the place now in all the gardens. Okay, now we need somebody to cover in a little bit at the base. And because I have a little bit of pink, I'm using this lovely Scillia with the little buds coming on it. And Scillia is super shrub. And it's a great plant to grow in the garden because the bees adore it. I have one here outside my classroom, and I took a video last week and it was absolutely alive with bees, honeybees. So I keep bees as just to keep me occupied so I don't get bored. And they are amazing little creatures. And they do so much to pollinate everything, so we really have to mind them as well. And keep food in for them. And also, if any of you now are going to be gardening, just putting a little group of that Scillia there, just to bring the pink a bit down there. If any of you are planning all your summer planting schemes, think of the bees when you're putting in your plants, please. And try and put in something that is good for pollinating in your window boxes or pots. Plants like bidens, single daisy flowers. Bees don't like big double flowers, big double dahlias and begonias and all those things, I'm afraid. Now, these are not from the garden. These are just a bunch of supermarket roses, but I just think we have to give ourselves a little treat every so often. And it's lovely to use something nice in your arrangement. And all flowers are so accessible now to everybody that you can go in and buy a bunch. And when you bring them home, an important point is that you take them out of their plastic sleeve, you recut their stem ends, you boil the kettle, make yourself a cup of tea, and then you can get a container, a plastic container that you have for the purpose of your doing your flowers, and you put about half an inch, I suppose, of boiling water in the bottom of the container. And you put the little packet of flower food that's with it on the end of your packet of flowers into the water and give it a stir. And recut your stem ends and stand them, and take the leaves off and stand them into this liquid which has been boiling for 20 seconds. Count to 30, really, count 30, and then fill it up with cold water and put them somewhere nice and cool and let them get a nice long drink. And they will last so much longer. Now, I've just put a little group of roses down in front of the yellow forsythia. Might be a bit gaudy now for lots of people, this, with the colours. But these are the colours that are in the garden. Now, I'm going to turn it around, and while I have it around there, I'm going to take some tulips. Now, tulips are super, but they have a habit of going whoopsie and doing their own thing. So when you pick your tulips, if you have them in the garden, or you buy them, bring them home and wrap them in a piece of newspaper. Now I'm just going to go over to this side with the tulips. Actually, I'm going to do it, I'm going to kind of turn it sideways, and I'll pop it around then when I have these in. Wrap them up tight in a piece of newspaper and stand them in a bucket of cold water. You do not do the same treatment with tulips that I said for the roses. But what I told you to do for the roses, you can do for chrysanthemums, gerberas, lilies, carnations, but not soft stem flowers like tulips or daffodils or any of those. Now I'm just going to pop another one in there. Just reach across here now and grab another one. Tulips just always have a habit of, broke his stem. We'll just shorten him a little bit. This is hope of spring. Tulips coming up are so lovely. And mine in the garden are not out yet. I planted a lot of bulbs in the winter, but they're just not flowering yet. So hopefully in another few weeks I'll have my own tulips. You could go mad buying bulbs. It's great fun, waiting and anticipation to see what's going to come. in the spring. Now I'm just going to turn that now and you'll see. So we have kind of two line designs at each side really of this. Now I'm going to put in something else there at the back, low down. What have I got here now? Beautiful pink hyacinths I picked out the garden. And hyacinths have a very thick stem. The garden ones are not quite as thick as the ones you can buy in the florist. And if you have a problem with putting in these into your oasis, what you can do is either get kebab stick or a cocktail stick, and you can put it into the stem. I just cut it straight across. Sorry now. I just cut it straight across, and you just pop the cocktail stick in, and it just helps to anchor it into your oasis. Okay, so those little guys are out at the back. Now, I need some, what we call kind of patchwork on the ground here now, just to cover the floral foam. And again, this is another Scillia. This is Scillia Q Green, which is a lovely white flower and a lovely scent also. So because I have the pink over here, I'm just going to put this in here at the back, because as you're looking at this and I'm working at the front, you're looking at a big lump of floral foam, which isn't very pretty. Scillias are suitable to grow in containers. They like the shade. They're a super plant to have. Very easy and evergreen, and just get on with the biz of doing what they do, and give you loads of interest. Now I just want to put in something a little bit more. I have some narcissi here. Now there's narcissi or daffodils as we call them. There's so many types of daffodils, and I have lots of varieties of daffodils, but this is one of my favorites. It's a little one called Thalia, Thalia, and it's got multi-head. It's got little stem and a few leaves. I just want to show you a little trick of putting. Now I also have some February Gold, which is a little yellow one, and I have no white in this, and I have yellow, so I think I'm going to go with the white. This is going to be kaleidoscopic colours now, but hopefully you won't mind. So I'm just arranging these, I hope you can see this now, in my hand, as if they were growing naturally, just like with a few leaves, right, like that, okay? And I just want to put them kind of out to the front, and I don't want them too high, and I don't want them too low. So I'm just going to cut their stems. I might have to go another little bit shorter, a little bit. That's very cruel, cutting them off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little rubber band right around the ends of them. These are easy to put in, but if you have big daffodils and you want to use them in a design, and the stems are very difficult to put in, this is a little trick. Come out, please, cocktail stick. And I have the rubber band at the base, nearly down to the very bottom, and then outside the stems and right around, like you do with a candle at Christmas time in an oasis. I'm just putting 3 little cocktail sticks, which are about 1 inch longer, and I'm going to pop them out the front. Just bring them over near the roses. Just have to stand back and have a little look, you see. Getting a little bit congested here now, so I don't think I'm going to put that much more into it. Now just put the little white daffodils there, little narcissus. Thalia is the name of those. Now I need to put some more foliage on the base, and also a thing you can use is some moss. Now I just got this from a wall out on in the farm this morning. Now because if you were doing this on a bigger scale and you wanted to give it as a gift. You could, if you had a bigger container, like a big flower pot saucer, these are little primulas that you can buy, or little grape hyacinths, little bulbs, and you can pop a little pot in to your container, so people will have it to plant out after the arrangement is gone. These are the little white muscari. So you could do that kind of thing. And because it's coming up to Easter, and before this gets too cluttered, before I put in any more bits, you could put in little bunny rabbits in there, into the centre. And I might put the bunny rabbits in this, I think, because I think they kind of look nice. Or you can get, these are little nests you can buy, and these are little little birds I bought in a packet in supermarket, and they have little clips, and you could put little birds on your branches. And little Easter eggs you could hang. And if you use the willow, it would be easier to hang these on. But you can hang, these are eggs. Well, I didn't do these now. I've been very lazy. I bought these for last Easter, but it didn't happen for all my classes here at the house. So have them in pink and green and purple, and you can put little flowers into them. But you can do this, you know, and you can make lots of omelettes and sponge cakes. You just be careful how you take out your egg and wash them out well and dry them. And you can have a bit of fun, and you can have food as well. So, or I'm sure some of you have little ornaments at home, like this little bunny sitting on and he's the colour I need, so he could sit in there for Easter, little bunny on his stand. But I'm going to go for the natural look, I think. So before I put in any more, I'm just going to put some moss in here in the centre, a little bit of moss. You don't want a huge big mat of moss now, just a little bit. And we're going to put the bunny sitting on the moss. And then I'm going to put another bunny, and I'm going to secure him. This guy has now, his ear has slightly, I'll put him to the front when I'm finished. I'm putting one bunny in there. Sit. Now I'm going to put in some more foliage, just to cover up. And this is another lovely plant to have in your garden. It's a heather, called a tree heather, so it grows as a shrub. I'm just watching my clock, and it's a lovely colour, and it will have a little white flower on it in a little while. And it's very pretty. So I'm going to turn that around now, so you can see, and I'm going to put this out here at the back. And I'm going to cover up the back with some more little pieces. And I don't know if you can see now, but as I cut each piece, I pull off the bottom bits so that I have a good clean stem to go into the floral foam. Otherwise, your oasis or floral foam will be in pieces and you'll get disheartened. And we don't want that, because this is to be fun, it's to be creative and therapeutic, which it is for anybody who takes up floral art. And how I came to be involved in this was many moons ago. My mother and a few other friends started a flower club in Tipperary, and as they say, the rest is history. And the flower club was affiliated to what's called AOIFA, A-O-I-F-A, Association of Irish Floral Artists. And we have clubs all over Ireland, and it's an amazing organisation. And our motto is friendship through flowers, which is quite true, because all the friends I have are nearly all flowery friends. And we all have the same interest in what we like to do, and gardening. And everybody shares and swaps pieces of plant material and tips. And we had our virtual AGM the other day, and our chairman of AOIFA was mentioning that since 1973 we have raised over $1 million for charity, and it's all done by volunteers. You know, it's just all volunteers. And we have a very good flower club in Kilkenny, which is which usually meets. But we have a Facebook page and a website, so if anybody would like to tune in to see what we're at, it's Kilkenny Flower Club. Now, how are we going, do you think? We're moving. I've just added in here at the back a little bit of Choicea Sundance, which is a lovely bright yellowy colour. And I just want to be able to see the yellow through. And I'm going to put another bit at the front just to cover my floral foam so that it's not looking too, well, it's not very nice looking floral foam. So we'll cover it up with a little bit of the Choicea. There's a very citrusy smell from this. It's quite strong, but it's nice. It's not so bad. Just going to put a little bit more over a little bit to the. So you need little short bits, so you don't have to prune all your garden. You know, you can just take little bits and bring in different textures and colours and shapes, and what you see that you like, that you think looks good together. Now we have no more white in this, except the one bunch of white, except at the back, but I suppose that's okay too. And it's whatever colours people like, really. I have another plant here, and I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to use this, but it's called Euphorbia robbii, and it's a very invasive ground cover, but if you have somewhere you want to cover, that's fine. The only problem is with Euphorbia, it produces latex in the stems, a white milky substance, so you have to be very careful using it because you can get a rash. So when I pick this, I singe the end in a flame, or else I put it into the boiling water before I use it to seal it. But then when I use it, I have to be careful to wash my hands and not touch my eyes after using it, because it's quite dangerous. You can get a bad rash. Now, who have I here next? I think I'm going to just put a little bit of this pink coming down the front. These are the beautiful hellebores, or Lenten roses. And again, these are in flower since January. And they come in loads of colours. And when they're like this with the pollen, they don't last very long. But when they go to seed, they last a lot longer. Now, I have lots of varieties of these in the garden, and I absolutely adore them. And they really give me a bit of cheer when they come out in the spring, because you know that things are coming back and you're going to have a lovely bit of colour. And they're very good as pollinators for the bees also. And I'm going to pop those out to the front here now. And I'm putting the little heads, the little ones that have gone to seed, I'm just turning their little heads up so you can see them, and they're pinky green. I need another one now. Let me see, can we find a nice little one? A few out there. I'm just letting them come out a little bit over the edge of the basket. And they're beside my ivy. Need another little bit of moss. And the little bunny. And yeah, I think that's. I'm just going to see now how we're going now. Just going to relocate a leaf back there because I need room for the bunny rabbit. But if you had this on a table at home, and it's in a glass dish, you'd be safe with your oasis, you know, not leaking onto the table. But just to be sure, put something under the whole thing. And you could do a lovely little scene for Easter with all, with your chickens and eggs and rabbits on a table in the hall or something, which would be nice. Well, that's if we could welcome any visitors, which we can't. But hopefully in April we will have a little bit more opening up of restrictions, and things might get a little bit more normal. But I must say, the garden flower ranging has kept me sane during last year. It was just a godsend to have the garden and to be able to go out and see what was growing and enjoy it and try new things and grow things from seed and have fun with it, really. And it was really a tonic. So now I think we're nearly done, and I'm going to just pop the other little bunny in there beside the other little guy, and I think that's about it. I have a little look, and I hope you enjoyed my little teaching them on how to make a spring flower arrangement with an Easter theme, very basic Easter theme. But it's up to you to go and see what you have yourselves and see what you can find and bring in and have a bit of fun, be creative, do something, and there's no really right way or wrong way. Just do what you feel, and nobody's going to be criticising you, because it's all a short-lived art form, I always say to people, and it's your personality coming into the flowers, and you have fun with it. And I wish you all a very happy Easter, and hopefully you will enjoy your gardens and your flowers and the creativity we have around us and nature for the summer. And hopefully I'll do another video at some other stage with another theme. And thank you all very much for tuning in to watch this.